What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about mastering AI agents. This is a full free guide I have on our free school community, the AI Academy. I'm just going to be walking you guys through it today. If you're new to the channel, you know we do these in one take, and we actually just got a mic, so upgrades. If you want this free guide, first link in the description. It's in our free school community, as I just said. We're almost at 1,000 members, and we launched this less than a week ago. So super excited to continue to build this community of people who want to learn AI and then eventually make money from AI. So starting off here, as I've said, this is a full breakdown on how to build AI agents that run departments of your life and business. So through this guide, I really want to talk about the big shift that's happening. That's going from chatting and prompting to handing that work off to agents. So in a chat model, right, you have a question, you get an answer. Like, for example, you're pinging back and forth, right? With an agent, you just have a goal of what you want to get done. You give it the goal and it plans and actually executes, versus if I'm prompting Claude on like what the weather is today, there's no goal there. It's like a Google search kind of. So the founders and employees leveraging agents are going to be 10 to 20 times more productive daily over months, weeks, and years. So I think it's really important for everyone that wants to get educated on AI to learn about agents now. And this is a pretty in-depth guide, so bear with me today. I think I have 4 core concepts here. Maybe I only have 2, 3. Maybe I only did 3. 3 core concepts I want to cover before we dive into the prompts. The first is the agent loop. So every AI agent runs on the same fundamental loop. They observe, they think, and then they act. So they observe the prompt that you're giving them. They think for a while, which is what's happening behind the scenes where you're waiting, of what they want to do. And then they act and they execute the step, whether that's research, writing code, designing something, whatever it may be. The agent repeats this loop as many times as is needed to complete the task. So I have a few examples here. Build me a portfolio for Greg. It observes the prompt, thinks, who's Greg? It searches and it understands who it is. It then observes research results. Now he has to plan and build what it's going after. It has to observe the plan and realize now it's time to code, and then has to observe the code, make sure it's correct, and then actually deploy it, load up the preview, verify it's done, and respond to you. So I think it's very important to understand all these frameworks and all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. The second core concept here I wanted to cover is the 4 components of an agent. So you have the LLM, and I get frustrated sometimes because I think everyone thinks that an LLM or a large language model is AI, and that's just not correct. An LLM, in this case, is going to be the brain for the agent. It's the model powering it, whether that's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity. The loop, it keeps going until the task is done, which we just talked about. The tools, which are the connected apps, so Gmail, Notion, whatever you like to use. And then the context, everything the agent knows in its instructions and in its memory about you, your business, or the task you are asking it to do. And the third core concept here is the agent harness. So an agent harness is simply the platform that facilitates that agent loop. All the popular AI agents platforms, are just different harnesses. So some popular harnesses I want to go over: Claude Code, best for long thinking; Cowork, simplest UI; Codex is OpenAI's platform; Anti-Gravity for Gemini; OpenClaw, which I use; Manus, Perplexity Computer. The list goes on and on. And then I added a quick car analogy here. So think of learning agents like learning to drive. Once you understand steering, braking, and the accelerator, you can jump into any car, Toyota, Range Rover, whatever. Some cars have better features, the seat warmers, cruise control, but the fundamentals of the car are the same to take you from point A to point B. Agent harnesses are like different cars. So I think you see people using Manus per se or Cowork, and people think there's a big fundamental difference if you want to switch from one to the other, when in reality it's kind of like the car analogy here, and that they're all there for the same reason. It just depends on how you want to deploy and use them. So a step-by-step here on how to build your executive assistant agent. I thought this was a good place to start when talking about agents. You want to start by creating a workspace folder on your desktop, something like executive assistant, simple. Then create your agents.md file with the system prompt, which we have here, and I think we have some more down here as well. This system prompt should include the role definition. So I didn't include something here because you can make it for yourself of whatever you want this to be for. The role definition of, like, for example, with this executive assistant, you're my executive assistant, context about you. So again, why I couldn't make just a copy and paste prompt for this specifically is because I don't know who you are when you're watching this video. You need to make it tailored to you. Your working preferences, the tools you use, and then the key clients and contacts the agent needs to know about. And I like to say build it in an interview style. So whenever I'm making an agent like this, I say interview me for new life events, or if anything's updated. It gives me like a 10 to 20 minute interview, and I just use Whisperflow and I just talk to it, and it gets all that context saved. And then you want to set up the memory. So I have a basic memory prompt here. This is what's going to be used basically to store everything it knows about you and what gets saved into the memory. Email sign-off preferences, communication styles, client preferences, formatting preferences, any context it needs to know. But the memory best practices I always say should be under 200 lines. Keep it concise and narrow. It should be trivial, and some harnesses have automatic memory built in. So whatever harness you're using, if we go back to that list, whether it's Claude Code, Cowork, Manus, OpenClaw, just make sure you understand how the memory is working for that system. And then you can connect your tools via MCP. I do this for my AI newsletter. Beehive has an MCP I use, where I can just plug it in, and then my agent knows everything about how Beehive works internally. So MCP is a model context protocol. It's created by Anthropic. It's a universal translator between your agent and your tools. Before MCPs, Claude speaks English, Notion speaks Spanish, Gmail speaks French. Good analogy. After the MCP, they all speak the same language. And a quick guide here on how to connect your tools. Cowork, you just go to connectors and you can browse your connectors and sign in. Codex is in the settings, Manus is in the settings, and then Claude Code has an MCP server in its settings as well. Recommended tools I suggest for this build of the executive assistant is Gmail, so it can read all your emails, Google Calendar, so it can schedule meetings for you, Notion if you use that for project management, which I do, Stripe for your payments, Granola for your meeting notes, Google Drive for files, and then Slack for any messages. Again, you don't need to use all of these. These are just what I suggest. And the power of connecting tools here is, let's say you want to summarize something from your inbox. Instead of having to paste in all those emails, you can just ask Claude to go in and summarize certain things, and it will find it itself. Now, step 5 is to build the skills. Skills are a standard operating procedure for AI. Once you explain something once, you'll never have to explain it again. The problem without using skills is you could have a repeated task you do every 2 weeks, and instead of just the Claude knowing that skill and being able to run the protocol, you have to walk it through every time, which is pretty frustrating. And now, there's 2 ways I want to go over on how to create skills. You can either do it from existing knowledge, so upload a course and it will create one for you, or from a live session where you can go through a process manually with Claude, for example, and say, I'm happy with the result. Use your skill connector skill to create, use your skill creator skill, to create a skill for what we just did, and it will package it up. A few skill examples I came up with here: the daily brief skill, a referral skill, meeting prep. I do this for brand deal skills, so it knows how to respond, newsletter research, proposal, all that good stuff. And the cool thing about skills is that you can chain them together. You can reference skills inside of other skills. Let's say I have my brand deal skill, but then I'm writing a blurb for the newsletter, and I want to use that skill. I can bring that into the brand deal skill so they can talk to each other. And you can also schedule tasks, which I talk a little bit about here. And then I want to get into the compound effect, so I'm going to go through step 6 quick, the global versus project level configuration. This is some more high level stuff. Let's get into the compound effect here. So the core philosophy here is, if you automate every little task in your workflow that you do every day, the time saved that is freed up to do other things is compounds over months and years. So month 1, 5 skills, save an hour a day. Week 1, month 1, you have 20 skills, saving you 34 hours. And then month 3, you're fitting a week into a day. You literally save 4 days out of your life because you took the time to make the skills now. Now, for building your own AI operating system, I built a long version here that you can copy. You can literally probably copy this in Claude and tell it to walk you through making it. This is just an example. Each folder here is a department, and each has its own role definition. Now, this is why context engineering is so much more important than prompt engineering, right? Because if you build the context, the prompting becomes not obsolete, but it becomes less important. So I started doing this on guides recently too, a recommended learning path. So start with Cowork or Claude Code. Build your executive assistant. It doesn't have to be perfect, but build something. Connect your tools, use it daily, try a few skills, expand it to a few other departments, and then I like to end graduating with OpenClaw because that's what I currently use. Now, a quick reference for some key terms here in this guide. An agent loop, which we talked about, is it observes, thinks, and then acts. An agent harnesses the platform you're using, Agent.md and Claude.md are the system prompt files. Memory.md is the persistent preferences file. MCP is model context protocol. A skill is the packaged SOP and markdown. Context engineering is the practice of loading agents with rich context for the future. And AIOS is the AI operating system. Now, if you thought this guide was useful, or if you want a demo, please let me know in the comments below, and I can literally build this live on screen. I respond to every single comment. And if you're looking for a free community here with other people, we had 2 people join literally during this recording that wants to build, we're doing giveaways, that wants to start here. We're doing tool drops. People are posting their wins, asking questions, just having discussions. This is a completely free group, and it will always be completely free. We have a free masterclass in here, all my guides. Right now we only have about 10, but this will get to 100 in no time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you found this valuable, subscribe, comment. I respond to every single one, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.